Hello, I'm Gemma and this is Non-Fic Books, and I have my Non-Fiction November 2017 TBR and Recommendations video for you here today. If you haven't seen mine or Olive's announcement videos, we are indeed doing Non-Fiction November again. I will link all of the relevant information down below, but the 4 challenges, if you would like to join us on 4 or any of the challenges, are love, home, substance and scholarship. So those words can be interpreted however you want, or you can just pick up a non-fiction book in November. The whole point is to try and get people reading a little bit more non-fiction. My choices, I have 5 because there's one category I think I'll fly through one book, and I've got a couple of other books coming in the post, so if I get a chance those will get slipped in there as well. My love one is The Science of Love and Betrayal by Dunbar, which is obviously a more scientific look as to what goes on when you fall in love. That'll be fascinating because I've never read anything like that whatsoever. The home first book is Icons of England, edited by Bryson. This is a series of essays by different people. Does it say who? Wow, a lot of different essays. So these are only going to be a few pages per essay, so I should really fly through this very quickly, and it's on things like the red post box and things that people think of when you think of England. The next home one, because so many people like the sound of this in my announcement video, is Lucy Worsley's Jane Austen at Home biography. This appeared in my Austen August, but I only ended up reading a chapter, so I look forward to getting my teeth stuck into this because I am a massive Janeite, and you may not know this about me, but I actually trained in buildings archaeology, so looking at the homes in which she lived and visited is exactly up my street. I don't have a physical copy of my book for Substance because I'm going to be reading an ebook, and that book is going to be A is for Arsenic, The Poisons of Agatha Christie. So I think that should be fantastic. I've been wanting to read it for ages, and this is the perfect excuse to get tucked into that. My final book is the scholarship one, and it's quite a chunky one, and I'm really looking forward to getting my teeth into this. And that is Isobel Grundy's Lady Mary Wortley Montagu, Comet of the Enlightenment. Yes, this is the same woman that I mentioned in my announcement video. I think she's fascinating. I'm looking forward to reading the 2 or 3 books that have actually ever been published on her, and I am really looking forward to getting into this. This will take quite a while. How many pages is it? As it is well over 600 pages long, but I am absolutely raring to go with that one. I love history books that you can properly get into. So I now have some recommendations of books that I have read that I think you will specifically enjoy for some of these challenges. I have some books here. I will link any particular review videos I have for these books because I know I've done individual reviews of some of these if you want more information. But I will also go through and create a new shelf on my Goodreads so that any book that I have read on Goodreads that I think would work for any of these categories that I recommend, I will pop in there as well, just to sort of help if you're getting a bit stuck on some of the categories. The first one is Home, and this was one of the best books that I read the other year, and that is In Her Element, Women in the Landscape, an Anthology, edited by Jane McNamee. This is another selection of essays, and it's all about different women in their relationship to the landscape in which they live and which they feel most at home. And these are Welsh women authors, and I think they are absolutely fantastic selection of essays, and this is from someone who isn't normally an essay fan. The next one is Simon Armitage's Walking Home, Travels with a Troubadour on the Pennine Way. This was a really fun read. I like Simon Armitage's poetry, which is quite rare for me. I'm not really into modern poetry, and I thought his travels along the Pennine Way trading poetry and poetry readings for food and accommodation and money, I thought was a fantastic, interesting, different way, and this and Walking Away were both really enjoyable reads. The next topic, Substance, is the one that I have fewest recommendations for, so hopefully I'll find some more on my Goodreads. But the one that I could find is a really short little speech from 2004 or 11? 4th of May 2011, done by Prince Charles, and that's on the future of food. And this is a really interesting little speech. I love what Prince Charles does towards sustainability and organic farming, and I think this is a really good little read for anyone who is at all interested in conservation, sustainability or organic farming. Really, really good. Love is the next category, and I've got 3 books that are all a little bit different. The first one is Perdita, Royal Mistress Brighton Romantic by Sarah Gristwood. I definitely have a full review video for this. This is a really enjoyable book. Any of Sarah Gristwood's would be a really good pickup, and quite a few of them would work well for the love category, but I think this would be a really interesting one to pick up because not too many people know very much about Mary Robinson. The next one is definitely a relatively quick read. It's quite short and you'll fly through it. Deborah Yaff is a journalist, and this just tells in how easy her writing is to read. Among the Janeites, a journey through the world of Jane Austen fandom. Obviously, Janeites take their love for Jane Austen to quite some obsessive levels, and I think this is a really fun yet heartwarming look at Janeites. Finally, that's Hallie Rubenhard's Lady Worsley's Whim, an 18th century tale of sex, scandal and divorce. I read this in 2008 when it came out and thought it was absolutely fantastic, and I think it would be a really good one for people looking for a more historical look for love. Finally is the scholarship one. These are all historical because that's really where my sort of more scholarly interest lies. And the first one is Thomas Penn's Winter King, The Dawn of Tudor England. This is all about Henry VII and is an absolutely fascinating read. My only slight criticism is the women tend to disappear a little bit, even though they have played some fairly pivotal roles, but it is a fantastic piece of scholarly work, and if you're interested in one of these sort of fairly underrated Tudors, this is a great one to pick up. For all those 18th century Jane Austen or Regency fans, High Society in the Regency period, 1788 to 1830, by Venetia Murray is a fantastic book to pick up. It is obviously a lot more scholarly and in-depth than any of those sort of Welcome to Regency England, The Time Travellers, etc. And it's a really, really worthwhile book to pick up if you are interested in learning more properly about this interesting time period. Fine. I don't know how many people will find this book overly interesting, but I thought it was absolutely fascinating. The Long Weekend by Adrian Tinniswood. Life in the English country house between the wars. Really, I think that should be Life of the English country house in between the wars, because this is a look at the buildings far more than it is looking at the sort of society and culture of the people living in them. That is mentioned to an extent, but this is definitely much more of an architectural history book, which meant I loved it even more, but it could put some people off. If you're interested, this is really sort of chunky, good, get your teeth into history, and that's fantastic. The next one, shameless plug here, this is my best friend's book, so I read of that what you will, but I think it's absolutely fantastic, and I hope someone will pick this up because it is a really fascinating subject. And that's Warfare and Weaponry in Dynastic Egypt by Rebecca Dean. And this also has a strong sort of leaning towards women and how they were involved in warfare in ancient Egypt as well. And I will leave a link where you can get hold of this because it's published by Pen and Sword and isn't as easy to find as some of the other books here. So hopefully you enjoyed those suggestions. I'd love to hear what you're reading. What's your TBR? Leave it down below. Are you doing the challenges? Are you just choosing to pick up one book of non-fiction this month? Next month? Let me know down below. And as always, questions and comments, I'll try and get back to you as soon as possible. Hopefully see you in a video soon. Bye!